Hey everybody, welcome back to Stamping School. I've got a jumbo gift bag because we need those this time of year. And the last time I did a video on this was back in 2009. If you guys remember that paper or not. But it's a really nice size bag because it measures about 8 inches across and about 9 or 10 inches tall, depending if you fold this little band down. And it's about 3.5 inches wide across. So you really fit a lot of stuff in there. And you can decorate them any way you want. In this particular one, I used this little die and put this through like this. This is from the Christmas season and Christmas to Remember. And these are carrying over, and the dies for this has this shape right here. So I made a little card out of it and just stuck that on there like a little hanging tag. So I'm going to show you how to make it. Now this starts with 12 by 12 paper, and I'm using just a piece of cardstock that comes in our designer paper just to play around with so you guys can see the measurements really clearly. But what you want to do if you're using designer paper, and you can do this with 12 by 12 cardstock, but if you're doing designer paper, you want to kind of think about the direction and where things are going to go. So for instance, I want the outside of my bag to look like this, and then I'm going to fold this down when I'm done, and I want that to be the top of my bag. So kind of pay attention to which way you want to score this because it's going to make a difference. And these scores right here that we're going to do first are the side pleats, and that's what creates these little pleats over here. So we're going to do these first. And so this will be the bottom of your bag down here. And if you do the little turn down up here, either 1 inch or 2 inch or however big you want it to be, that's going to come across here. So just keep that in mind. So we're going to score it at 8 inches, 9 3/4, and 11.5 inches. And you need another piece of paper that's exactly the same, and you're going to score it in exactly the same place. But just remember that when you score the second one exactly the same, they're going to fold together like this. So if you score them exactly the same, it should work out just fine for front and back. So your second one, 8 inches, 9 3/4, and 11.5. And then you're going to turn it just once this way. So we can score the bottom of the bag. So that's 2 1/4 down the bottom. And then if you want that little 1 inch turn down, you're going to score it. This is the top of your bag. You're going to score it at 1 inch right here. And you're going to do that for both pieces right here. So same thing on this one, 2 1/4. And then if you want that 1 inch across the top for the turn down piece. Here's my 2 pieces of designer paper. They're already scored. This is going to be the front of my bag. And before I start, I really want that pattern to come across here. I just want that extra little trim. Now you could glue cardstock on there. You could do any kind of little scallop border, anything. But if you're going to turn the designer paper down, do that first. So glue both of those down first. Let's do the other one while I'm on it because I'll forget if I don't. Glue all those down. Now, here's how you score those side pleats. Now we're going to work on these side pleats here. So we're going to do a mountain. Let me turn it upside down. So we're going to go mountain, valley, mountain fold. There. Okay, so you've got, let me turn it this way. Mountain, valley, mountain. So you've got that little accordion on that side. We're going to do the same thing on this one. Mountain, valley, and oops, mountain. Gotta get this little guy down better in the corner. There. Okay. Now these two are going to go together. They're upside down, and they're going to glue together just like this. So it'll look like that. That makes sense? So the glue is going to go right on this 1/2 inch strip. And if you're using cardstock, you're going to want to use something really strong, like a sticky strip or a tear and tape or a really strong glue. But designer paper, it can handle the seal or the snail or something, as long as you're not putting anything too heavy in it. And we're going to put these right together, there, just like that. Okay, glue my little guy down better. There. So those 2 pieces are together. And now, flip it over. And this one. Now we'll glue the other side. There. And that's just gonna come across. And you're gonna put these two ends together, just like that. There we go. Okay, so this is what we have so far. This has a very pale print on it. I was hoping you could see it better, but maybe it's hard to see with that color. So it should fold flat at this point. This one is not going to fold flat. I'm just gonna stick something right in it. That's a little more involved to pleat all of this, to fold it again, but I'm just gonna put my present in it and deliver it. So now let's do this bottom flap. And it's probably easier to show you at this one. So you need to cut right along here on the sides up to that line right here to create those bottom flaps right there. Same thing on this side. Cut up to there and here. And then we can bring these in like this. And that's the bottom of the bag. So I've cut these little flaps over here, but it's really a good idea if you can do it to kind of reinforce those score lines. So I just sort of bend them up this way, bend them back this way, just to kind of get them used to where they need to go. And then, so now I've got my two flaps in, this one and this one. We're gonna put some glue right along the bottom. I'm gonna put a couple rows just to make sure it's not gonna go anywhere. And you're gonna need to put your hand inside just to make sure that it sticks really well. Right there. Okay. Now for the inside, I take a piece of chipboard. It's 3.5 by 8 inches, and that goes in the bottom. You could decorate that or something, but you know, it just needs to support that a little bit. Now for these handles, I just did some ribbon here. You can do cardstock, you can do all kinds of things, but I'll show you how I do it. I pinch these together and I put my holes beyond this little pleat. And you can measure, but I typically don't. I take a Sharpie, and like I said, you can feel where that little pleat is. And I kind of hit the middle on this one, and over here, kind of hit it. And look at it, does that look pretty even? Maybe this one can come up a little. And then I'm gonna punch holes at the same time through both of those. If you have the Crop-A-Dile from years ago, this thing is the boss. I just love it, but it's just got such a great hole punch in there, and you can punch them both at once. If you can't get something to go through all of that at once, then you can just mark it on each side, but just try to make them even if you can. Right there, there's one. Going right over my Sharpie mark. Two. All right, two different ways you can do the ribbons. Here, I've got some of this white sparkle ribbon. You know, you can get away with about 12 inches or maybe a little more, maybe 14, but 12 inches is good if you do it the way I'm going to show you. All right, so you need 2 pieces of that. Okay, one way, which is the easy way, of course, you can bring it through like this, and you can tie a knot in it, probably 2 knots, and then when you bring it back through, it's going to stop because of the knots. You could do that on each one. You can do that. I kind of like it a little bit neater than that, and let me see if I can show you how to do it. So I'm going to put it through just a little bit. I've got 4 little 1-inch circles cut, whatever size works, as long as it covers the ribbon. And I like to take a piece of this tear tape because it really holds well. Just a little piece. And I'm going to put it on the inside where the ribbon is. Let me see if I can pick it up and show you. See that? It's right there. It's just holding that ribbon down. And then I'll add just a little bit more adhesive on one of those circles. And I'm going to cover it up. It just looks nice and neat. You can also put a band all the way around for extra stability. So for instance, on this one, I was using brown ribbon, so I just put 2 brown dots, but they kind of stick out a little bit. I might go back and change it to evergreen or something like a lighter green to kind of blend it in better. If you had the matching cardstock left over, you could certainly do that, but it just covers the tail ends and it makes it look nice. So that's it. So now you don't have to run to the store for a bag. And you can make them in any size, of course. This just happens to be the big one. And it's a good way to use up the last bit of your holiday designer paper you've got left over. Go make one. Let me know how it turns out. We'll see you next time. See it, learn it, stamp it.